So I thought this might be fun. I haven't gone through it yet. I was looking through the internet a while ago, and I came upon this page, and I thought, wow, this is so interesting. I haven't gone through it again, so I don't know what it's gonna entail for me. But I would recommend maybe going to the Wikipedia page for time yourself, and then just following along with me. This is not gonna be too in depth or whatever. I'm curious about what it says about time because it's a very long Wikipedia page. So go to wikipedia.org/wiki/time and kind of just follow along with me. I swear this is probably going to be very interesting. Okay, so let's go. Time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events that occur in apparently irreversible succession from the past through the present to the future. Huh. Okay, so what a succinct but completely full definition of time. An indefinite continued progress of existence and events that occur in apparently, I love how it is apparently. I love how it's opening the possibility we can like reverse time. Apparently irreversible. Succession from the past through the present. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty good definition of time. Time is a component quantity of various measurements to used to sequence events, blah, 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 quantify rates of change. I love how so many things have Wikipedia pages. I mean, you can spend a whole day looking at the Wikipedia page for the past, the present, and the future. They all have Wikipedia pages, isn't it crazy? Time is often referred to. What's the Wikipedia page for the conscious experience? Oh, conscious and experience are two different things. Time is often referred to as a fourth dimension along with the three spatial dimensions. So I guess it's the three spatial dimensions should be length, width, and depth, I guess. Then time is the fourth dimension. Let's keep looking forward. I love this. Time in physics has its own Wikipedia page. Time in physics. Time in physics is unambiguously operationally defined as what a clock reads. I love how definitions are so important. I'm gonna speak into what time in physics is. Oh wow, if you could click time in physics, there's a whole other page of just equally long stuff with a bunch of math. I never really thought about like how something like time, something we tend to take for granted, it has so many weird like things. There's so many things to consider and think about and measure, and I don't want to get into time in physics. We're looking at the time page. Maybe that'll be another day or something. Let's see. So I'm continuing reading. Investigations of a single continuum called space-time bring questions about space into questions about time. Questions that have their roots in the works of the early students of natural philosophy. So there's this whole thing that I think Einstein figured out, which is called space-time, which I don't fully understand, but I want to. Next, a temporal measurement has occupied scientists and technologists. What's a technologist? I didn't know that's you can be an engineering technologist. I don't know what that is, but it has a very long Wikipedia page as well. So temporal measurement has occupied scientists and technologists and was a prime motivation in navigation and astronomy. Currently, the international unit of time is a second, and it's defined by. I never knew what this was. So it is defined by measuring the electronic transition frequency of a cesium atom. What the fuck? Time is so a second is the measuring the electron transition frequency of a cesium atom. Why this? How is this so? Why is this the thing? How who? I can probably figure out who came up with this idea, but it's such a bizarre thing. Anyway, time is also of significant social importance, having economic value. Time is money, has a Wikipedia page. As well as personal value due to an awareness of a limited time in each day and in human lifespans. Time is money. The time value of money is a greater benefit of. Okay, time is money has a lot. Wow, it's just as long as the. Again, whatever. Everything has so many wikis. Wikipedia is amazing. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Number one. I'm not gonna go through all of this. I'll try to go through them very kind of shallowly. Number one, temporal measurement in history. Generally speaking, methods of temporal measurement or chronometry. Chronometry? What's chronometry? This is science for the measurement of time. I guess. I thought they already decided a second is a. Anyway, they take two distinct forms: the calendar, a mathematical tool for organizing intervals of time, and the clock. Huh. Temporal measurement, it can go through the calendar and the clock. I guess that's true. I never really, we never really consider what it's like to break down what time, that those are the two real measurements of time. Like, I guess so. In day-to-day life, the clock is consulted for periods less than a day, calendar for periods longer than a day, da da da. Okay. History of the calendar, no need to look at this, but let's see. It's 6,000 years ago is when they started. They used to do it with lunar calendars, and just, I guess they stared at the sky and saw how many, times we see the moon fully. That makes sense. Interesting. But, I'm interested. I wonder how that was before, at the time when they were kind of just looking at, like, the moon and figuring out, like, counting, how many times it was full, and they must have been amazed to find that there was some kind of cyclical pattern. That must have been such an amazing discovery for them. Julius Caesar, they came up with the solar calendar. I guess they started interestingly they started with lunar calendars, meaning that they started thinking very much longer term than the daily calendar. That's interesting. They thought if people used to think monthly as opposed to daily, in terms of how they constructed time. History of time measurement devices. Study of horology. What's the other one? Chronometry is the science of the measurement of time, and then horology is the study of time. Study of the measurement of time. What? That sounds like it's the same thing. Chronometry, the science of the science of the measurement of time. Horology is the study of the measurement of time. The science, the study. I don't quite understand that, but we'll go on. An Egyptian device that dates to 1500 BC, similar in shape to a bent T-square. Whatever, they had like sundials and stuff. We generally know this, right? What's a water clock? Or a clepsydra? So they used to have water clocks. I don't know what this is. Nope, I don't. It has a very long Wikipedia page. I don't exactly understand how you can tell the time with the water, but we'll keep going. An hourglass. Okay, we know that. Ferdinand Magellan used hourglasses. Okay. Stuff about clocks. Okay. The most accurate timekeeping devices are atomic clocks, which are accurate to seconds in many millions of years, and are used to calibrate other clocks and timekeeping instruments. Atomic clocks use the frequency of electronic transitions in certain atoms to measure the second, like cesium. I really want to figure out what that's all about. I'll probably look it up after. Why cesium? I'm gonna click it. What's so special about cesium? Why does this have to be the thing for time? Why cesium? No, this page is too long. I'm gonna go back to this in the future. Next part. Units of time, seconds, 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. Who thought of these things? How did they decide these things? In the page called Time Orders of Magnitude, which I don't have the time to get into right now. Okay, let's go. Definitions and standards. The mean solar time defines the second as a 1 over 86,400 of the solar day, which is the year average of the solar day. The solar day. There's this thing called a solar day. Wow. There's a page called the solar time is a calculation of the time based on the position of the sun in the sky. The fundamental unit of solar time is the day. What I'm thinking about is, like, if you say you're someone who wants to study time, what is your, like, what's your field? Can you when I just graduated from college, I don't remember hearing about I didn't hear about the course called horology, or chronometry. I didn't hear about this. This is not necessarily limited to physics. This is like some kind of weird. This is about time. Like, if you want to be an expert on time, knowing all of this stuff, what is your profession maybe, or I don't know. Let's just keep going. World time. While in theory, the concept of a single worldwide universal timescale may have been conceived of many centuries ago, in practicality, the technical ability to create and maintain such a timescale did not become possible until the mid-19th century. The timescale adopted was Greenwich Mean Time, created in 1847. A few countries have replaced it with Coordinated Universal Time. What does this mean? Concept of... So actually it is like it was impossible to really coordinate time around the world. Huh, that is weird. Yeah, that's true. I mean, right now we have internet and that's like worldwide, but how would you have considered, okay, now I have a way to measure my time, right? How do I make my time universal in the same way that I can understand what time is in someone else's place, or how can we, match up the seconds and stuff? That sounds like it sounds like a legit problem. How do they do that? Oh, it has its own Wikipedia page. UTC, Universal Time Coordinated. Okay, then I'm not gonna go through this. A history of the coordination of time. Next is the ephemeris second. An invariable second had been defined, which of use of which remove the errors in ephemerides, resulting from the use of the variable mean solar time as the time argument. Variable mean solar second. What does this mean? In 1960, this ephemeris second was made the basis of the coordinated universal time. I'm so confused. It is a specified fraction of the mean tropical year. I do not understand this. At all. There's like an invariable second. Not quite sure. I guess it was like the idea of this whole, creating this whole atomic measure of time. I guess it was hard to like have a definition of a second that was, same as everyone else. Okay, let's skip all the way through time conversions. Sidereal time, okay. Unlike solar time, which is relative to the apparent position of the sun, sidereal time is the measurement of time relative to that of a distant star. I guess the sun is a star. So there should be other ways to measure time apart from sun. Wow, wait, that's interesting, isn't it? If we use different stars in the sky, we would have a different way of perceiving time. In astronomy, sidereal time is used to predict when a star will reach its highest point in the sky. Due to the Earth's orbital motion around the sun, a mean solar day... Wait, what's this? It's about 3 minutes longer. 3 minutes and 56 seconds longer than a mean sidereal day. How is there a mean sidereal time? How is there mean sidereal time if the position of stars around us is different? Not all the stars are the same distance from us, so how can there be a mean sidereal day unless they are able to figure out how the mean average of all the stars are around us? That sounds like an impossible thing. This doesn't make sense to me. It has its own Wikipedia page, which, again, I'm not gonna go into. I clicked it. It's so okay. I can look at this next time. Chronology. Yeah, we know what chronology is. Time-like concepts, terminology. Instant, as an object, 1 point on the time axis. An instant is 1 point on a time axis. Being an object, it has no value. Time interval, part of time limited by 2 instants. A date is as a quantity characterizing an instant. As a quantity, it has a value which may be expressed in a variety of ways. Okay, just like date is like a quantity characterizing an instant. A quantity characterizing an instant. Just how do we say what instant this is, I guess, is the date. The duration, quantity characterizing a time interval. Yes, makes sense. Duration is what you'd call a time interval. Date's what you call it instant. Cool. Linear and cyclical time. So this is under religion. So religion, there's linear and cyclical time. Ancient cultures such as the Incan, Mayan, Hopi, and other Native American tribes have a concept of a wheel of time. A wheel of time. Wheel of time has its own Wikipedia page. What's a wheel of time? Let's not go into that. The wheel of time, they regard time as cyclical and quantic, consisting of repeating ages that happen to every being of the universe from in between birth and creation. Time is cyclical. For some cultures, and for some cultures, time is linear. Okay, it makes sense. The Judeo-Christian worldview states that time is linear and directional. We move from this direction to this direction. At the end, beginning is when God created the planet, the world. It ends with, I guess, the revelation-ish thing, right? Time is linear. For some cultures, time is cyclical. it's about repeating ages. So the idea that, time or history repeats itself or whatever. Similar, I guess. Oops, there's cars there. Let me see what else. In the Old Testament of Ecclesiastes, traditionally ascribed to Solomon, time is often translated. So time was traditionally regarded as a medium for the passage of predestined events. Another word, it meant time fit for an event and is used as the modern Arabic, Persian, and Hebrew. So sometimes time is linear, sometimes time is cyclical, sometimes time is a medium of passage for predestined events, meaning fate is all fated and then time is just a medium we all kind of pass through, which I think is also similar to some Christian beliefs. I'm not exactly sure. Well, this is Christian. This is in the Old Testament. Time in Greek mythology, the Greek language denotes two distinct principles, chronos and kairos. The former refers to numeric chronological time. The latter relates to the metaphysical or divine time. Divine time, kairos, is qualitative, and the numerical time is quantitative. What is divine time? I really want to look up what this is, because sounds so interesting. Maybe another time. The kairos, divine time. In the Kabbalah, time is a paradox and an illusion. Oh, this one I like. Both the future and the past are combined and simultaneously present. Let's read though, but I'm going to read up about the Kabbalist because I think that is the most intriguing one. Time is an illusion. Okay. Philosophy of space-time and temporal finitism. I want to click temporal finitism. My internet's so slow. It's not loading. What is temporal finite? It's just the idea that time ends. Two contrasting viewpoints in time divide prominent philosophers. One views that time is part of the fundamental structure of the universe, a dimension independent of events. So it's Newtonian time. I guess, the idea is like time exists apart from us. The opposing views time is not a container of events that objects move through. It is just an intellectual structure together with space and number within which humans sequence and compare events. So this is Leibniz and Kant. Time is not an event nor a thing. It is not measurable and it cannot be traveled. It is an intellectual structure. Time is an intellectual structure. That sounds more interesting. Furthermore, it may be that there is a subjective component to time, but whether or not time itself is felt as a sensation or is a judgment is a matter of debate. In the Vedas, the earliest texts of Indian philosophy and Hindu philosophy, cycle of creation. So it's similar to the one earlier. Augustine of Hippo from Confessions talks. It's just one of how different philosophers kind of interpret time. Kant says that time is an a priori intuition that allows us to comprehend sense experience. That's just something we kind of know because it helps us comprehend our experiences. But it's not something that is a substance. It's not a thing. It's not traveled through. It's just intuition. Bergson believed that time was neither a real homogeneous medium nor a mental construct, but possesses duration, which was creativity and memory. I don't know what that means. Martin Heidegger says that we do not exist inside time. We are time. I'm not sure. Okay, that's I have to read Heidegger. I hear he's hard to read, but I want to read him. Being in Time is one of his books, I think. Hence, the relationship to the past is the present awareness of having been, which allows the past to exist in the present. The relationship to the future is the state of anticipating a potential possibility, task, or engagement. It is related to the human propensity for caring and being concerned, which causes being ahead of oneself. I think it'll take too long for me to get into the meaning of Martin Heidegger's division of time. He has a whole book on it. It's like 1,000 pages long. Heidegger thinks certain things about time. Time is unreal. A bunch of different people. Presentism. Modern philosophical theory called presentism views the past and the future as human mind interpretations of movement, instead of real parts of time. The theory rejects the existence of all direct interaction with the past or the future. Only the present is there. Presentism. I've heard about this, I don't know much about it. So there's presentism, there's eternalism, and the growing block theory. The present and the past are real, but the future is not. This is so confusing. The present and the past are real, but the future is not. The growing block theory. I don't understand what this means, but I will try to read about it. Physical definition of time. I'm only halfway through. I thought this would be, I didn't realize this was going to be so difficult. Physical definition of time. My mind's hurting right now. Theory of special relativity is Einstein's special relativity. Minkowski space-time, a mathematical structure that combines the three dimensions of space with a single definition of time. In this formalism, distances in space can be measured by how long light takes to travel. So light, space-time, this is space-time, measuring space and time as one thing. So measuring time is how long light travels is the same thing as light travels a certain distance, and there's the light years. Okay, I guess. Classical mechanics. Space-time. So space-time is a theory that the concept of time depends on spatial reference frames of the observer, and the human perception as well as the measurement by instruments such as clocks are different from observers in relative motion. For example, if a spaceship carrying a clock flies through space at very nearly the speed of light, its crew does not change in the speed of time on board the vessel, because everything traveling at the same speed slows down at the same rate, including the clock. However, to a stationary observer watching a spaceship fly by, the spaceship appears flattened in the direction it is traveling, and the clock on the board of the spaceship appears to move very slowly. There's a whole drawing of this. I don't understand it. Future light cone, past light cone. I don't know. Time dilation. Einstein showed in his thought experiments that people traveling at different speeds, while agreeing on cause and effect, measure different time separations between events, and can observe different chronological orderings between non-causally related events. My head hurts. So let's see. Einstein. If two events taking place at the points A and B of a system K are simultaneous. If they appear at the same instant when observed from the middle point. Time is then defined as the ensemble of indications of similar clocks at rest relative to K, which registers the same simultaneously. So time is he's measuring time using space, and he says that two events are happening at the same time if, I guess the idea is if I'm standing here, and 100 meters that way there's a book, and 100 meters that way there's another book. If they fall at the same time, if I'm looking at them, and they're falling at if someone drops them at, if I see them falling at the exact same time, I would call the happenings simultaneous. But the only reason why I think that is because I am equidistant from the 2 points. If I was closer to one point, one of them would look like they're moving faster or slower than another point, and the idea of simultaneity will change depending on where I am relative to those 2 points. Like he says, simultaneity is relative. Relativistic time versus Newtonian time, I don't know. Arrow of time. So time appears to have a direction. The past lies behind, fixed and immutable, while the future lies ahead and is not necessarily fixed. Yet, for the most part, the laws of physics do not specify an arrow of time and allow any process to proceed both forward and in reverse. This is genuinely a consequence of time being modeled by a parameter in the system being analyzed. When there is no proper time, the direction of the arrow of time is sometimes arbitrary. Cosmological arrow of time points away from the Big Bang. increasing of entropy. And quantized time. The chronon, a time quantization is a hypothetical concept. According to modern theories like general relativity, time is not quantized. Planck time is the unit of time system in the natural units of Planck units. Current established physical theories are believed to fail at this time scale. I don't quite understand, but loop quantum gravity. Okay, time travel. Time travel is the concept of moving backwards or forwards to different points in time. Yes. The central problem with time travel to the past is the violation of causality. Should an effect precede its cause, it would give to the possibility of a temporal paradox. We know this from like TV and movies and all this time travel stuff. Some interpretations of time travel resolve this by accepting the possibility of travel between branch points, parallel realities, and universes. Yeah, we kind of have this idea, right? So like we can move, if we go to a different, we move to the past, we'll create the causing thing. We'll create an action in the past that never didn't happen in our past today, but then the past that we kind of go into would end up becoming like a parallel reality or another universe to some degree. And that kind of solves time travel as a possibility, creates it as a possibility if you believe in the idea of parallel realities or branching out universes, branch points. Yeah, that makes sense. Time perception, the specious present. The specious present refers to the time duration wherein one's perceptions are considered to be in the present. The experienced present is said to be specious in that, unlike the objective present, it is an interval and not a durationless instant. The term specious present was first introduced by E.R. Clay. What? Specious present is a time duration wherein one's perceptions are considered to be in the present. This is hard. The more I read this, like my brain is not working as well anymore. Biopsychology. The brain's judgment of time is known to be a highly distributed system, including the cerebral cortex. So it's like, I guess they're figuring out like, okay, we seem to be able to keep time. So what parts of our brain keep time? The cerebral cortex, cerebellum, basal ganglia, and there's a suprachiasmatic nuclei responsible for the circadian rhythm. It's interesting. So apparently certain parts of our brain are in charge of keeping in time. And so next one, psychoactive drugs can impair the judgment of time. Stimulants can lead both humans and rats to overestimate time intervals, while depressants have the opposite effect. The level of activity in the brain of neurotransmitters such as dopamine and norepinephrine may be the reason for this. So certain drugs can impair the judgment of time, and because it impairs or maybe influences certain parts of the brain that seem to be involved with time keeping. Children's expanding cognitive abilities allow them to understand time more clearly. 2- and 3-year-old understanding of time is mainly limited to now and to not now. 5- and 6-year-olds can grasp the ideas of past, present, and future, and 7- to 10-year-olds can use clocks and calendars. In addition to psychoactive drugs, judgments of time can be altered by temporal illusions, a kappa effect, age, and hypnosis. The sense of time is impaired in some people with neurological diseases such as ADD and Parkinson's disease. Psychologists assert that time seems to go faster with age, but literature is controversial. Those who support this notion argue that young people are able to cope with faster external events. Use of time is, they're not very interested in this, honestly. Yeah, we know how time is used, right? Social, economic conventions, customs, expectations, we understand how people use time. We use time every day. We understand this, I think. Storytelling, sequencing events. Here, spatial. Oh, so we're at the end. Okay, last one. Spatial conceptualization of time. Although time is regarded as an abstract concept, there is increasing evidence that time is conceptualized in the mind in terms of space. That is, instead of thinking about time in general, abstract way, humans think about time in a spatial way and mentally organize it as such. Using space to think about time allows humans to mentally organize temporal events in a specific way. So what does this mean? This means that we actually don't conceive of time with time as a thing, because time's not really a thing. It's like a weird construct, it seems. After reading everything, it seems like one of the ways of thinking is that time is not separate from us. It's a way we construct. It's constructed. Time is constructed, and it seems like the way we construct time in our brain is through looking at it with space. So it seems like space is more of a sure thing, I guess, and our brain measures things through space, but time is kind of, there's no time thing in our brain, it seems. Well, I guess a while ago it said this. A while ago, some people said that there was biopsychologists. Some say that there are parts of the brain responsible for time, but whatever. So, I guess there's another way to look at it is that it's actually maybe space that's being organized in our brain. Mental timeline. Using space to think about time allows humans to mentally organize temporal order. So the way that, so I'm reading it now. The way that we construct time seems to not be universal, and different cultures have specific mental organization systems of time. So all the Western cultures typically associate past events with the left, and future events with the right. Yeah, I do believe that as well. This horizontal, egocentric mental timeline is not the spatial organization of all cultures. Although most developed nations use an egocentric spatial system, there's recent evidence that some cultures use an allocentric spatialization. What does it mean? That's true. I do think of time as a left to right thing. And we do think of it when we make timelines, we go like this is. But I guess there are other ways to construct that kind of idea of time. I guess when we think of time passing, we think of time going this way. In a recent study of the indigenous Yupno people of Papua New Guinea, when speaking of the past, individuals just gestured downhill, where the river of the valley flowed into the ocean. When speaking of the future, they gestured uphill towards the source of the river. This was common regardless of which direction the person faced, revealing that the Yupno people may use an allocentric mental timeline in which time flows uphill. And there's another example from the tribe. The wide array of distinctions in the way different groups think about time leads to the broader question that different groups may also think about other abstract concepts in different ways as well, such as causality and number. That's nice. I wonder how they choose. There's certain books that they recommend. Brief History of Time, Hawking, About Time, Einstein's, Being in Time, Heidegger. Yeah. Different units of time. Yeah, so this is the Wikipedia page for time. I hope you learned something new today. I definitely did. And spend more time on it. There's some things that flew over my head. Probably would have flown over yours as well. There are there are like 1,000 other links on this page that can lead you to different Wikipedia holes. But yeah, this is the Wikipedia page for time, and I hope you learned something new. I definitely did. So yeah.